Hello, everyone. I'm Kenton David Bell. So I've been channeling this energy called Telos for, in earnest for the last 3 years or so. It started coming to me about 13 years ago, though. And so Telos is a multidimensional stream of consciousness that comes from source through what's called the throne energies. In the old paradigm, these are called the Elohim, and Metatron are part of this stream of consciousness. And Telos is here to oversee and help guide our transition in the ascension cycle that we're in now. That's going to be going on for a while. Anyhow, so I've recorded the following me here. What you're going to see is the Telos channeling coming through me, and it's when it comes through, I'm kind of here, kind of not. And at certain moments, you might see my eyes open up, and sometimes if I'm really in the channel, I can keep my eyes open. But sometimes if I open my eyes, it begins to take me out of the channeling. So that's in general why I keep them closed. And I'm just starting to do this on camera. So there's a part of me that's a little, not real a whole lot, but a little self-conscious, I think, self-aware, that I probably will get over as I do it more and not need that as much. So anyhow, that's what follows. Thank you for tuning in. I am Kenton David Bell, and I love you all very well. Have a great day. Good morning, dear ones. We are Telos. We come to you from the throne energies of Source itself. We are here helping monitor and guide you in your great ascension cycle that you find yourself in now. Many things on your planet are changing, and they're changing very rapidly, as all of you can see. Now, this is all very purposeful in a sense that you are cosmic beings and you're in an ascension cycle is very logical, very planned, very expected. However, on the human level, it feels very disruptive. A lot of distortions, chaos, disharmonic experiences are coming up for all of you. Part of this is your experience of the last paradigm that you've all been living through for a long, long time now is collapsing. It is dissolving in the light of a greater truth. Or you could just say a higher frequency. And that higher frequency begins to become your greater truth. Because frequency is what it's really all about. The old paradigm was a very slow, very often arduous, very contained in many ways. We have told our dear channel in certain ways, you could think of humanity as a whole in a bed and in traction, as if you were in a hospital after a bad accident and broke many bones. In a ways, humanity has been in this traction, meaning held tightly in a particular space-time envelope for this last paradigm. Well, dear ones, if we were to continue that analogy, we would say the patient is waking up and she is starting to feel better now. The healing is taking place, and it's time to begin to get out of bed, begin to learn how to walk again on these new grounds that are available for you. We like to give you ideas that are comprehensive enough to bridge you between the old and the new without, however, you clinging to them too fully in order to keep moving forward. It's a time of great transition, and it requires a fluidity and a flexibility unlike you've ever known before. And what we mean by that is your ideas about how things work, physics, how things are out in the world, your financial system, your political system, all the systems that you have in place that you just have taken for granted for a long time now. Well, dear ones, these are changing. And that part of you that has taken for granted is also a part of you that has, well, we could say, been asleep around these issues as well. You've become habitualized into them like a old worn out path that you keep walking over and over and over again, the loop. Many of you are feeling this. You feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again without getting any new results. Well, it's always been like this. The difference is now the results you're looking for fall out of the familiar loop that you're in. And even using tools that were in that loop, in that old walking path that you've been treading since time began, as far as you're concerned, those tools cannot elevate you or help you get into the transformation that's needed to get on the other side of this, you see. We are Telos. We are here to help remind you of the true blueprint that is in each and every one of you. It's coded already through source code in your DNA. It's there, waiting to be revived, waiting to be woken again. Yes, we said woken again. In certain ways, without casting blame or distraction towards any other type of conspiracy theories, your DNA is somewhat repressed. Now, we'll go into that perhaps some other time. We don't want you to go down that rabbit hole at this moment, because where your attention goes, energy flows. And where we want your attention is on the DNA, but how it can gently awaken. Where in your system, whether it's your DNA, whether it's your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual bodies, your astral body, whatever it may be that you need to let go of, what ideas are outdated that are keeping you glued to the old paradigm at this time. Some of you are moving from the third dimensional time space into the fifth dimensional while passing through the fourth. As you pass through the gateway, the bridgeway, the breezeway of the fourth dimension, you must indeed understand what the healing principles are around the fourth dimension. The fourth dimensional space, aka the astral, is a place of smoke and mirrors. It's like one of those old fun houses where you get lost. It is very easy to get lost and to believe that that fun house of crazy mirrors is reality, when indeed it is not. It is just a very small fraction. However, it gives you the opportunity as a human being, transitioning from the third into the fourth, the opportunity to learn the healing keys to pass through this gateway. The healing keys of this gateway are unconditional love towards all other sentient beings, all life in the universe, whether they're politically aligned with you or not, whether they believe the same God you believe in or not. The other healing key for passing through the fourth dimension is complete acceptance of what is. You must learn to begin to accept where you are, where you've been, where you're going. You must learn to accept those things that feel like shortcomings within you. You must learn to accept the nature of the relationships that you've been in with loved ones, family, friends, associates, work associates that you maybe have spent the majority of your time with. You see, this is a school in a sense of teaching you how to hold that love and acceptance in the face of adversity. For instance, do you really think that arguing against the other side is actually going to bring you what you want? Whether it's politics, whether it's religion, or just general beliefs on how you live, whether people belong in your group or don't belong in your group. Do you think that by pushing against them, excluding them, is actually going to bring you what you desire? Well, we tell you, dear ones, absolutely not. The illusion might tell you that, but it is an illusion, only an illusion. And we ask you to begin to look for the truth. And the truth in those moments is all there is love. Love and acceptance of what is. You know the old saying, between a rock and a hard place. This comes from someone stuck in some thought form on the astral plane. When someone gets stuck like this, it's usually because they're not allowing, they're not accepting. Accepting is a form of allowing, if you think about it. You're accepting and allowing something to be there. Doesn't mean you have to do anything about it, doesn't mean you have to like it, but you're allowing it to be there. The moment that you begin to resist it, what you resist persists here. In the fourth dimension is not the same physics as the third dimension. And this right here, this is the crux of what's happening right now on the planet, people. If the individuals on this planet truly understood the nature of the fourth dimension, there would be no war or conflict, or very, very, very little. How married are you to your beliefs? How certain are you that you are right? The paradox here is the more certain you are right, the more likely you are also wrong. Remember, we're in a world of duality. But more importantly, we're passing from a third dimensional frequency through a fourth. There'll be many people who will choose to stay in the fourth this lifetime. And there will be many who move through the fourth into a fifth dimensional experience. The fourth is collective. You learn to be part of the collective. You give up the individual needs for the needs of, you give up the needs of yourself for the needs of the many. As you move through the fourth, you begin to enter into the fifth dimensional frequency band, consciousness. And here, like the third dimension, what it has in common is you begin to feel individuated again. But this time, you're individuated in a new way, for you have the learning, at least to some extent, under you about unconditional love and complete acceptance. These are tools that you're going to need moving forward. You cannot bypass this. You cannot jump from the third to the fifth dimension. You cannot bypass it. This is what they call spiritual bypassing. You must do your work. And for many of those transitioning through here, you are cleaning up all past lives of karma that you've occurred on the wheel of karma for many, many lifetimes, like our dear channel. And while to many it sounds like a wonderful thing, oh, I'm finished with my karma. Wait till you start cleaning it up. Wait till you start living without karma. It requires you to be much more awake, much more aware than when you're working with karma. The grass is never greener on the other side, people. The freedom that you seek is never further than where you are at the moment. There is no greater freedom. There is no greater finish line beyond the place you are right now. Now, that's a paradox for you to ponder, but in that is a great many divine answers for you and true freedom in that moment, you see. We are Telos here, and we are here to help. We're here to guide. We're here to gently nudge, but we cannot do it for you. You are divine beings discovering that you are divine beings. You are God, source, energy itself. You are the God source code that runs through everything. We speak about the universal current. This is a flow of energy that flows through everything. It emits from within you and flows through you. It's not separate from you. Never has been, never will be. It's impossible to separate the universal current and its intelligence, its immense perfection and design that flows through each and every one of you. And as you learn to give this space, as you learn to open up and allow this to pass through you, to move through you unencumbered, you will receive many, many benefits. One is you'll be able to make the journey from the third through the fourth into the fifth dimension, no space, more easily with grace. You cannot understand the fifth dimensional space from the third dimensional space, or even the fifth dimensional space from the fourth dimensional space. They're incredibly different. It's like trying to explain to a goldfish what life outside of that little goldfish bowl is like. It's impossible. And many of our egos will, many of your egos, we use the term all of us here because we are just one. Many of our egos will play with this. Many of our egos will tell us, oh, it's about performing a particular way. We call that spiritual performance. It is not, dear ones. The new way of living into the what we call the Telos framework on the Telos platform, and we use that term because the Telos, the true definition means what you're meant to become, that which you truly are. The divine expression of that template that is in each and every one of you, that perfection that is here now. That brings coherence and harmony to your experience. As you're moving out of this, you have to begin to discard some of the old ideas, for instance, of higher self, lower self. That splits the self into parts that say, oh, this part is good, this part is not so good, which worked well in the third dimension. But moving from the third through the fourth into the fifth, something else begins to happen. In the fifth dimensional space, there's no longer upper and lower self. Yes, there'll be always new dimensions, new heights to that you will evolve and grow into, but that's not what we're talking about here, dear ones. In the fifth dimensional experience, it is vastly different than the third or the fourth. There is literally a strong distinction between these worlds. In the Telos view and in the Telos framework, when you're in the fifth dimensional space expressing yourself, there is immense more capacity. Capacity is one of the main things we are going to talk about here and going forth always through this Telos framework. Capacity is one of the number one main attributes that you are living into, that you are evolving into. Many of you, all of you, have been living in compensatory living. You've been compensating for a fractured fundamental platform, an operating system that has taken immense amount of energy. for you to just maintain on a daily basis. You're exhausted from this. So give it up. Don't try to salvage. Don't try to build your new self on this old platform. You can't. You'll just get the same results. So what we're inviting you to, dear ones, here is the new platform. There literally is a new platform. You hear the term grid, matrix. That's what we're talking about. This is a Telos platform that is born out of the conception of perfection, with divine physics and metrics that are supporting it. Does it mean when you step into it that everything's going to be fine, that life will just be smooth sailing? Absolutely not. In some ways, it's going to require more of you because you're going to need to be awake. You're going to need to be awake. Our dear channel here, he feels it when he's in it, and then sometimes he's back in the old, then he's in the new. The more time he spends in the new, the harder it is to be in the old. But he's also noticed when you're in the old, you can't fight it to get back to the new. You just gently, gracefully bring yourself into this new place that's there. And when we say it's a platform, we're saying it's inside of you. There's nothing here that is outside of you. Nothing, not one iota. It is all within you. It's in your bones. It's in your DNA. It's in the cells. It's programmed into the nucleus of your cells themselves. We want to talk about creating the distinctions to know. As you begin to step into the new, what will begin to take over more is your intuitive self. You must bring this online. For those of you who already are, you might need to upgrade it somewhat, refine it. Remember, your intuitive self was also intuitive in the old paradigm when you were compensating for things because the platform was fractured. How many times have you tried transformation and you go to a workshop and it sticks a little bit and you come back home and you had a wonderful time there and then you drop back into your old life and a couple of weeks later it feels like everything that you had become is no longer there. Well, the reason for that is not because the workshop was wrong or the teacher was wrong or you didn't do it right. It's because the operating system underneath it all is fractured and could not hold that greater coherence, the greater capacity of that breakthrough. So we must stand on a platform that can support, i.e., capacity. And those of you who understand this know that there's moments in your life when you feel that capacity within yourself, when the things of the past that felt limiting you, a ceiling, a block, a wall that you had hit are no longer there. Those who are experiencing greater capacity, they're not just sitting around. Quite the opposite. They're doing more in the new than those doing what they thought was a lot in the old. The only difference is in the new now, under this new capacity, you're able to literally hold a lot more, whether it's being productive, whether it's just love, whether it's your health and well-being. The capacity for all these applications on your platform become greater. We like using the analogy of the tech references, computer references, because this has become such a big part of your life and it's going to be in your world now. Whether you like it or not, it's there. The thing to understand about all of these technological advances in your age at this time is these are not born out of love. These are reflections, in a sense, a man-made replica, inferior of what divine source's perfection code has in it. Everything outside of us is created from within. So your whole tech world is a mirror of the advancement of what's going on in society, in your world right now, in your culture, world, societies, but it's missing love. Why? Because you can't build, at least yet, machines with love in it. And if you look at it in a sacred geometry way, it's very easy to see. There's the geometry of God's source. And then there's another geometry that's called the Luciferian, often referred to as the Luciferian. And it looks so close to God's geometry, but it lacks love. So the tech world out there can be very useful for human beings, especially at this time as you evolve. It can help assist you, but it cannot replace you. And many of you are, well, we could say, succumbing to a sense of your being atrophied from giving up too much of your power to the tech world. Now, when you're in your alignment, when you're in your, we call it your telos as opposed to higher self. And we could say telos is interchangeable for the Christ self in the old paradigm, but we're not using that term because that's the old paradigm. Doesn't mean it's not without love, but we're jettisoning all of that rhetoric that usually ends up in, a pile of believers, non-believers, of love and hate and all of that. We're transcending that in this body of work that we call telos. Transcending that. And we want to talk about your inner tech here, your light technology that is in each and every one of you. Do you know that if you just give yourself more space, that can actually address and answer probably a good handful of issues that you have at any given time? And what do we mean by that? We mean when you're able to literally see things with more space around them. Your body, the people around you, loved ones, literally just double the space that's around you. Like if you can fill your own personal space, let's say it's 6 feet, expand it to 12 feet. Does that make it more permeable or more diluted or anything like that? But the more space you give yourself, the more the universal current can flow through you. You see. That old saying, getting stuck between a rock and a hard place, begins to fall apart when you give yourself more space. Just more space. Any issue you see in your life, see it with more space. Another way to address this, and this is going to sound so simple that you're going to believe that it's not true. But don't take my word for it. Try it yourself. What happens when you look down? When you look down, things begin to shrink. They get myopic. What happens when you look up into the sky? What happens for you, to you? You open up and you expand. Walk around today after hearing this, or tomorrow, or for the whole week, noticing what happens when you look down for long periods of time. Your world becomes myopic, things shrink. The more it shrinks, the less the universal current flows. The less the universal current flows through you, the less creative energy you have, the less vital energy you have. The more you look up and open up, the more things are able to flow through you. It's so simple, but try it. Once again, don't take our word for it. Try it. We are Telos. And we've been here for a very, very long time. We've been here longer than you have, a lot longer. We've overseen 7 different humanoid colonies in the multiverse, this local multiverse. We work directly with the throne energies, part of Metatron, and as well as the Elohim, that was referred to as the Elohim, and which are the local creator gods of this universe. Anyone can learn to tap into these energies. But before you do, learn to tap into yourself. Ask gently within your heart space, what is it I need today? Do I need to look up more, go for a walk in nature and just appreciate, and let my system process all the shifts that are happening at this moment on the planet? Do I need more news? Would it serve me to, of course, we're being somewhat ironic here. Would it serve me to watch more news today? Should I watch 5 hours of news today? How will that make me feel? Should I take a long bath and a nap and eat some healthy food and drink good, clean water and appreciate the wonderful things around me? How would that be for today's schedule? The old is falling apart. The ways that you used to move through the world is changing for men and women, for children, for the animals on the planet as well. There is no being on the planet that is not being affected by this. We are Telos. We love you dearly, and there's nothing you can do about it. Go forth, have fun, enjoy yourself. Thank you all. Whew, that felt good. I'm spinning a little bit from that. Thank you very much.